Hello, everyone. My name is Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu-Sweeties.
We're longtime friends that discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Through our own lens, which, honey, is often ridiculous, often absurd, sometimes sassy, but at the end of the day, classy. Just kidding. Sweet.
Yes.
Hi.
Oh, we're not mildly sweet this time? We're just
No, we're
straight
sweet. No, we're
Okay.
actually extra sweet, honey.
Okay,
like,
I
you
love
know, and do we need a little hot sauce to counter it out, or a little vinegar, maybe like a little what we need is like a squirts of lemon sometimes. We're almost like too sweet, I think.
Yeah, I feel it too. I think that we do a bang up job at being sweet.
Yeah, also humble. Anyway, welcome to our podcast. Today we'll be talking about Love in Paradise. We are a Caribbean story, honey. We are season 2. We are like episode 8.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 8 is great. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know.
It is great. That rhymed. You did it.
I know. Not some of these people that haven't even known each other for 8 months.
Yeah, you should be a rapper.
Okay, so let's talk about it. It was interesting because Juan and I watched this episode together, and when we watched together, it's fun to pause and be like, "Did you know that? Did you know that?" Like, we're gonna start with Carlos and Valentine, and why I'm gonna bring this up is because we've been watching it again for 8 episodes, and we're not like, we're like somewhat smart people. It was only until we got to the beginning Chiron, like little like Valentine, Carlos, back-to-back moment that we realize when it says their names and where they're from, that my goodness, yeah, honey, yeah, Carlos and Valentine have an 18-year age difference, and you could forget because these two men to me read with absolutely within the same 6-year gap.
Yeah, 100%. They both read 35.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
I'm going to give Carlos 37. Like, they both read it, especially as activo as Carlos can be and bossy and, Valentine being the consummate HR professional.
Oh my goodness, honey. Listen, if he ever has to like get a new job, you're going to write that resume, honey, because no one believes in this man's skills more than you. And it's because you see yourself in him. And I know that.
I don't see myself in him at all. But what I'm saying is that I respect him because I'm in HR and he's in HR.
That's why I say you see yourself in him.
Okay.
You just got to telling me I don't see myself in him at all. I don't see myself in him. Except that he and I have...
He probably... I can't even say what I want to say about the reason why. But like...
He has to deal with BS and you have to deal with BS. That's why I feel like that's why in my mind, I'm like, she sees herself in him.
I respect anybody who does the job. And so I'm going to give him his respect, and I'm going to give him the respect because he's a good communicator. And, that's what you need to be in HR. But it's an 18-year difference. And yeah, Carlos's face is pretty rough. And that was a really not sweet thing to say. But
no, that was a little like lemon, I guess. That was a squirt of lime, honey. A squirt of lime in someone's eye.
You know, it is what it is. Like, listen, he's a very handsome man. However, the mug is giving mugged. So,
Jesus. Yeah.
So Valentine,
docu-salties, honey. Docu-salties.
So Valentine does a cute thing where he wants to surprise Carlos for his birthday. And it must be a hard thing. It must have been a hard thing for him to try to do, or a challenging thing, because he had to communicate with Carlos's friends via, I don't know, WhatsApp and a Google Translator Instagram, in order to get this ball rolling to where they could understand and be there for Carlos during this time, because they're in a different city now, right? Mm-hmm. So the friends had to orchestrate and drive from wherever they were to wherever they are now.
Yeah.
And be there to surprise Carlos. And Carlos cries. It was very sweet. It was a very sweet and great gesture, especially seeing as how Carlos tried to poison Valentine with alcohol.
Yeah. It's like, could you imagine Carlos is like, yeah, like, I'm not out, you know that about me or whatever. And like Valentine's like, yeah, you're not out, but I'm pretty sure your grandma knows you're gay. Like he just tells his grandma's gay. It's one of those things where it's like, no, didn't you hear me when I said my big thing is I'm not out with my family? Valentine, but Valentine did hear him because he is a consummate HR professional. Let me just tell you, Wah, you also are a great listener. And people, don't know how to communicate. So for you and Valentine, I see you and hear you both.
Thank you.
So yeah. So they have a beautiful party. He cries. The next scene, honey. Now here's the thing. We do know, again, that Carlos's family is muy tradicional, very, very conservativo, honey, and they are not happy with that like homosexual, as they would say, choice. And we know that also because his cousin has braved the storm and come out. Not only did this family and the family didn't do well, but specifically Carlos's sister, who at the time was like, not into it.
And the cousin, Yanner, he had to go first for Carlos. And they're at this celebration, and Carlos and the cousin are talking about it. And but at the celebration is a wonderful like cultural dance that happens as well. And it was listen, I know that there are Black people throughout the diaspora, but like I've seen a lot of Black people in Colombia in this show so far. And I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
And so like I was like, oh my God, like I don't know Carlos's ethnicity, right? I'm assuming there's different ethnicities in Colombia of people. He's given indigenous to me, but I did love that this like, I guess, Afro Latino dancing group, or what, I don't know what country or I don't know what culture it represents, but I thought it was really nice. And I would love for somebody to get girlfriend dancers for me to serenade me. So there's that.
Okay, well, I hear you about that, and I guess I could try.
I mean, wouldn't you love like a belly dancer woman who's like Lebanese to like come out and like
she'll be at my wedding.
Yeah, we love her
when I marry her. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But next scene, my love, they're on their way to do the deed, and they need to get some fresh hydration. And just so you know, if you ever need some electrolytes, the best way, fresh coconut water, and that. It is, and if you cannot just open a fresh cocoa because you don't live in Santa Marta, honey, Colombia, you can't just buy one. That Harmless Harvest is so tasty, and they really know how to charge an arm and a leg to taste that way.
But let me tell you, as somebody who has drank in many a coconut in foreign lands, that Harvest one is a specific coconut. It's what I think of as Thai coconut, which tastes different than Belizean coconuts or the Dominican coconuts. So like, sometimes you taste other coconut brands and the coconut milk or water tastes different, and it's because it's from a different soil. I prefer the Thai.
Oh yeah.
Personally. And since I have no plans of going to Thailand, I'm never going to actually have it from the source. I'm always going to have to buy an expensive bottle of Harvest whatever. But he tells him how to say, "Can I have 2 coconuts?" In Spanish, and in a way that sounds mean to me, because like I guess the kind of Spanish I learned, like I wouldn't just walk up to somebody and say "Dame 2 cocos, por favor." I would say like "Puedo."
Yeah. Comprar?
Yeah, puedo. I would say "Can I?"
Yeah, puedo comprar? Can I buy?
Yeah. I would say "Can I have?" or "Can I buy 2 coconuts?" Dame is like give me. And that's, I don't know. Maybe it's not rude in Colombia. Maybe it's not rude anywhere. But
maybe it's just a little like, hey.
Maybe it's that translation to English that I think, because I would never go up to someone and be like, give me,
You might like it. Okay, if you were a New York guy and you're going to go get a slice of pizza and you go up to the menu and you're just like, hey, give me the pepperoni.
Yeah.
Like that's the same. And like no one would be like, excuse you, sir.
Yeah.
Please order our pepperoni with some manners. It's like, it's like you're smiling. It's like, give me the, So I think it's the same like, down me 2 cocos.
Yeah.
And the people, So
you're right. That's it. I still wouldn't do it though.
Well, you're not an Italian gangster. It's
too
bad. Yeah. I really wish you were. But anyway, so honey, here we are. So now let's just we got to call a spade a spade. We got to call coconut. It is a little like, this woman has to know that you're gay, honey. The sister knows you're gay. We have these 2 lovely gentlemen, and they're wearing like, Carlos is wearing like rainbow socks, my love. And, like their hair is the way that their hair, and there's a top bun and there's a curlicue mustache. And like Carlos is like, forehead hair, all of it is like, I love it. Listen, I love it. But like, yeah, this woman's gonna have to, this woman is, I don't know what, she's blind, honey. She's like, this woman is in her own, realm of craziness. If this woman is not gonna like 100% understand and like has known that you're her brother and is gay, but has been gay for a long time. And at the same time, I get it's hard for you. So like, and at the same time, I'm glad you're showing this, because we can just see how incredibly hard it is for you, and how, insolent and ignorant a woman like that can be, to not understand that like her own brother is gay, and he's been shouting it from the rooftops, I'm sure, his whole life. without saying a thing?
I think that it's because she believes it's a choice. She may realize, or may have an inkling of a thought, that her brother would be interested in men, but because she thinks of it as a choice, she thinks that he can choose to not act on that impulse. And so that's, I think, what probably the issue is. Because there are a lot of religious people who acknowledge that there are gay people in their family. They just don't want that gay person to actively be gay. They're like, oh, I understand you're attracted to your same sex, but you can choose to just not do that and then do the thing that's right, you know? Quote unquote. I did quotes if you guys are not watching this on
and I am just sitting here aghast because I know that Wa is right, and it just hurts my heart because it's like, I mean, that listen, God bless whatever you believe, but it's just hard to think that a person would be like, yeah, you're just going to choose to pretend to be something for the rest of your life, and so the person that you're going to be with is going to be lied to for the rest of that person's life, you know, and that person's and you like are never going to have the connection that people can have when they are joined in a romantic way, because you know it all of it obviously is well, it's obviously sad. So here we are though.
No, it definitely is sad. And I guess I just think it depends on your idea of love, right? Like you just described an idea of love that I think is romantic and sold and perpetuated here in the US. But I think there are a lot of people, especially women in poorer countries, who end up in situations just based on circumstances. So like if I have to suffer, you have to suffer. Like it's like, you know, who knows if that woman, if his sister has married the love of her life,
right,
or just had sex with a man, got pregnant, and now has 3 kids and is just surviving. And so she's like, we are all not happy. What do you mean? We're all we're all not happy, but like we're all trying to live.
We all make choices.
Yeah, or like whatever that is. And her attitude is so stony that my hope is that after what we see next episode, which we'll explain when we're done, whatever we see next episode, I really hope it's different than what we think we're gonna see. Like, just now let's go on.
Okay, so basically they sit down at this open air cafe and they're waiting for the sister to come, and you know, Valentine's there in support, and the sister comes and she shakes Valentine's hand. And if we had any question as to what this sister has been thinking this meeting is going to be about, or whether this sister knows that there's a possibility that Valentine or Carlos might be gay, all of that goes out the window, honey. The way this woman looks at Valentine and says good lets us know that this woman knows this conversation has been coming and knows exactly what's going to be said. And she has defenses up and she's not happy about it and is not comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she's even slightly being rude to Valentine in a passive aggressive way. Like she hasn't said anything, right? They don't speak the same language. So Valentine's whole thing is, I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. I'm just here to support you, but I'm also not going to sit next to you, let you sit across from your sister. I'm a neutral party. But the sister is like giving off vibes to Valentine. It's like, and then you're going to say it in front of this. I don't know. That's what I was getting.
Gay man.
Which is why I'm hoping that next episode, she's like, you know what? It really is hard for me, but I accept you. Because if she is just like, I don't agree with this lifestyle, and we have to watch a scene where Valentine has to watch his lover, 28-year-old lover come out of the closet, and either he has to choose to get up and hug his person or not, because it's going to make the situation worse. And we don't know how Carlos is going to react afterwards, being outright rejected by his sister. And so it's a really hard moment. So, but the moment we get that was a little shocking for us is he sits down with the sister and he starts to tell her, well, the reason why I brought you here is because I wanted to tell you something that's really hard for me to say. I've been holding on this for a long time, pero soy gay.
Soy gay.
And then Chris and I were like, oh, no, not
homosexual.
Yeah, this is shocking. We thought it was.
Oh, why that took us aback. It did take us back.
Yeah,
it was because I just didn't. You never know what words we use. You know, like I didn't know about activo passivo until this whole season. You know, and so like like gay is just like the basic name. You know, like just gay. Oh yeah, soy gay. I mean, if I was like one of those like 90-day people that like can't wait to put like, some sort of soundbite on a shirt, honey, and like sell it.
Soy gay would be 100. I mean, someone is doing it right now.
With Carlos's like full on man bun and like twisty mustache, have like a little like handwritten thing of that person with rainbow socks, honey, saying soy gay.
Chris said it here, and someone should
take
do
it and make $1 million.
Someone needs to give her the proceeds for that, because this, I mean, it would be amazing. So it cuts literally right there, and we're left breath abated, if that's even correct to say. And
unbated breath,
and
on bended knee, which is what we were last night.
That sounds like we went to a Boyz II Men concert. That's what that reference is. We were not.
Sounds like we were
in an alley with strangers.
Unbated breath, on bended knees in an alley.
Strangers. Okay. So that's where we left off, and that's where we'll leave you guys. Let's move on to our next couple, and that is
Ariana and Sherlon. And we, listen, you're listening to this podcast, and if you want to know the juiciest scoops, we'll give that to you. So at the end, or we'll talk about them, and then we'll talk about at the end maybe some internet dramas that has happened. And so that's a mild, what's the word, spoiler, but we're telling you up front that we're going to do it at the end of talking about them. So you have that coming. Now, at the end of the day, like, how could you truly be like, don't spoil the love story of these couples? I mean, you got to kind of have to let go with the punches. Anyway, but here we are. It starts. This is the morning after the mom dinner, honey. The like two sides had met in the court of moms, honey, and judge and jury. He was found guilty of misleading her,
chasing her.
Yeah. And then not really being truthful, just to get in her pants.
Just to get in her pantalones.
And he hasn't been right, honey, because she has been like dealing with the consequences while he's been willy-nillying all of his willies all over the nillies of the Jamaica.
Specifically, Shay Shay Baby Girl, or whatever her name was.
Sugar Baba Mama.
Yeah.
Sugar Baba Mama. I don't know. Anyway, but here we are. Now he is trying, here's one thing about Sherlon. He's horrible, but we will say that he seems to have a curiosity about his son. He's trying to be some sort of father. Now it reads mildly narcissistic, like that's my baby and he looks like me and I got to learn how to do it. But at the same time, he's trying to fuss with this bottle. He doesn't know how to do it. She's like, no, you got to put that green thing in. No, the green thing is the whole point of that bottle thing.
Yeah, but let me tell you, she is just so not Emily. And I keep saying it because if that were Emily telling Kobe to put the green thing, she would have been like, Kobe, you have to put the green thing in there. Whereas Ariana was just like, oh, you got to put the green thing in there. Like off chance, just walking by. Oh yeah, I got to put that green thing. And then like keeps going, like she's like, I'm just helping you be a parent in a kind manner. And this baby is there with just milk everywhere. And so we have to change the baby's clothes.
Yeah, but it's okay because this baby is so cute. And what kind of pajamas did the baby get into?
I mean, hot dogs and baseballs. It was like a whole little take me out to the ball game pajama set.
Buy me the peanut set.
Yeah, it was so cute. This Odin is really very cute.
Awfully cute.
I mean,
can I be honest? You know that like Sherlon, if you're listening right now, they're the best. You were right in your moment. You had a come to Jesus moment with those moms where you realized that like you have not a lot of great years ahead of you, just like trying to put your penis in as many like vacation bays as possible. You don't have a great body and you're getting up there in age. And like at the same time, it's like you would be only too lucky to be held down by a woman that loves you and also gave birth to your beautiful baby boy. And so she's offering you not only love for you, but she's also been so far a great parent, the only one, to your baby. So I mean this, not every person on here should settle. And I'm telling you, Sherlon, if you think you would have settled or should settle, you actually aren't settling. She settled for you. You would only be too lucky to be with her. And that's what your mom knew the moment that she was at the dinner, but you're too dumb to know that. So anyway, keep thinking with your dick, dude, Anyway. What?
So
sorry, I got upset.
and I'm
upset.
I'm trying to understand you
Why?
being upset. I know why.
Okay.
But I'm trying to like your perspective always comes from a place of romance and wanting to be in a relationship, or like seeing that as the like oh, she's your perspective.
Do you think that I'm saying that it's the best option for her?
No, you just made it clear that you think it's not the best option for her. But the thing is, though, like, Sherlin doesn't care. He does not want to be a husband, or he doesn't want to be a husband, nor like he wants to be a father in like in a general sense. Like, but he doesn't want to like, he doesn't want that, you know. So even if you're threatening him with, haha, you're going to be alone, I don't think he cares. I think that he will probably continue having sex with young women well into his 60s, 70s if he's charming.
Yeah.
And so like you're not like, haha, you see who ends up alone. Sherlin's like, great, no responsibility, no having to take care of anybody else's emotional needs, and you know, financially having to take care of. Oh yeah, don't threaten me with a good time, Chris Farah. Chris Farah, don't threaten me with a good time. That's what he said. And so
okay, listen, so I like, get it. This is a whole different mindset. Yeah,
you're just getting upset for like no reason. Ariana, though, baby girl, move on. We love you. And he admitted the thing that he needed to admit. And so now we just need to take that information and move forward with it to them going out to kind of see where their relationship is going. Mother is taking care of Odin. And so they go back to the place where they fell in love, quotes in love.
Lust.
Where he tricked her. They go back to the place where he tricked and charmed her.
Yeah. He tricked her.
And he was saying things like, oh, it's that Caribbean magic.
We're going to bring it back.
Yeah.
You know, and she's just like, oh God, you're just like, I don't know, being what you were, like flirty and funny. And he's like, you're looking at me with those eyes.
Yeah, we're just going with it. She does Irish. She does Irish, guys.
It's those eyes and then that beautiful face. And he like
touches her face. And she's like, stop it. And I was like, oh shit, girl.
I know. Once we saw that, we were like, oh no, I hate this for her. She's like, I know. And then he's like, and those thunder thighs.
And then that got me, because a good slap on the upper thigh meat.
Do you like people? Okay, this is a little too much information, but do you like when guys rub on your booty?
Jean Marie, you're gonna cut out that question, and we're gonna only put that in the Patreon only. Great. Here, keep going, and we'll tell you when to in the edit. Thank you. Go ahead. I'm answering. I'm ready.
That's what I only asked you one question, and you made it seem yeah. So I'm not gonna ask any more.
No, ask me more. Ask me more.
You asked me a question.
Oh, okay. You can bring back in now, Jean Marie. No, the thing is that I love answering that question. I just don't want it out. I don't know. I get shy. I got shy. Don't get upset. I'm not upset. I'm just like, it can be in Patreon. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Now listen, he is like, I think is coming into feeling a certain amount of narcissism by flirting with her. And then she's beautiful. And I think that like the sexual chem, you know, feeds a certain part of us, and of course hormonally. So I think that like we start to see them flirt. He's like, you're making the lion stir. And we're like, oh God, you know, like, why is this? She's like, you know, like, why make yourself prey to this like predator again? But you know, it's something we've all done. And then he's like, you know what they say? Oh, fire sticks are easy to light.
Yeah.
Yep. He wants to be Scottish, right? Like he really wants to be Viking. No, I don't know.
Yeah, he's saying that, listen, I don't have to actually work as hard this time around, because the old fire stick is easy to light. And we're just like, oh God, Sherlin, you are the worst. Now, here's the little bit of tea that we got about them. Is that he put up some, I didn't even put it in here. I took pictures of it and everything. And
send it right now.
You
can send it to me. Okay, so this is what he did, and then we'll send pictures. So basically, on Instagram, on his Instagram, he puts up like one of those someone else has written the memes, or not meme, but like thing. And the thing that he puts up is a juxtaposition, if you will, between what he thinks is mother of your children and baby mamas.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy because we're like, why would you post that up? And it's also the opinion of an idiot that is like these are these like toxic masculinity mansplain nonsense that some women buy into because they really want to be loved by the patriarchy. So the first thing he says, and if you're watching this on Patreon, you will see the actual clips or of it. But those of you who are listening on the podcast, it's baby mama, a female, underlined and italicized, who is mad at the fact that she can't have you back, so she becomes spiteful, jealous, and crazy. She tries to fill your life and all relationships a living hell. She tries to make your life and all relationships a living hell and will do anything she can to make your relationship with the child difficult every chance she gets. A baby mama does not care if she hurts the children in the process of hurting you. Then, for mother of the child, it says a woman, italicized, underlined, that knows the relationship you had is over and there's no hard feelings. She works with you, compromises, and stays consistent so that both of you have a lasting, healthy relationship. Now, this is fighting words. These are fighting words for Ariana and for me because, first of all, outside of Ariana and whatever his name is, Sherlon, the mother of your child is just so gracious in the fact that she's just doing it by herself, and she compromises and leaves space for you and is submissive and loving through this process. But a baby mama is the one that fights you. But that has nothing to do with you.
Right.
It has everything to do with her and the kind of person she is. She's either a female or she's a woman.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Instagram McInnes Sherlon, for this like incredibly disrespectful Instagram post about the only person that has like ever given birth to your seed, by the way. It's just, and has taken care of that person. And so horribly, this came out. He also posted this like again recently. So within the week of this last episode, which as we just talked about was the first like their like loving flirtatious date episode, and after he had to sit through watching the episode where all the women and truth seekers, truth tellers are like, you're not shit.
Yeah.
So he watched that, knows this episode's happening, and then goes to his Instagram and puts up something we all know who it's about because he has no other females in his life, and she's going to see it too. You're on a television show.
Yeah. And so she responds with, just so everyone knows, Sherlon has done absolutely nothing for our son since he's been born. He hardly calls. He never sends money. We agreed on $60. That's the amount that he chose a month, and he won't send it. He is the definition of a deadbeat, and there's very inappropriate pic of him or
have hymns float. Well,
appropriate pic of himself floating on Twitter. I tried to get him to be a good dad, and he continues to do nothing. I tried for months. Now, this one, normally I'd be like, I don't know how much of that is true. I would actually say that I believe that that's true, that she is the person who, because he won't actually call and he won't actually like do it, that he then expects her to do so. Yeah. And the reason why I know this to be true is because back in my early 30s when I lived in New York City, I had a little affair with a gentleman who was in prison. And those of you guys who listen to my Love After Lockup, you know the story. And he had a child, and he would get frustrated with the mother for not bringing the child to the prison to see him, because he felt like, if you want me to have a relationship with my son, obviously I can't go to him. So you need to bring him to me. And when he said that to me, I think he thought I was going to be on his side. But I said to him, you have to think about it from her perspective. You made a choice to go to jail.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't. I said, you did. You did.
Yeah.
And I broke it down to him and I said, every choice that you make that is against the law is a choice you're making to go towards jail. It might not be your vision, but those are the steps that you have taken to have that outcome be more of a chance to be happening.
Yeah.
And now you want this woman to disrupt her life after you left her and this baby. And he's like, you know what? I never thought about it like that. And this is why I like this person, because of his background. He and I were still able to like have this kind of conversation. And that's the same thing. It's like the onus is always on the mother to make the space. Like, oh, I don't have a car, so you should bring the kid to me. Or, oh, I don't have this, so you should make space. Like, I don't have a place for the kid to stay, so you should allow me in your home to spend the weekend, or something crazy that men and, men, I'm going to just go on and say it and not be fair in this. Men will expect a woman to do, and then hold that against her and say, oh, well, your mother was the one, I guess, with all the opportunities or the availability, and she didn't put herself out in order to ensure that you and I had a relationship. It's like, no, you need to put yourself out. Yeah. You need to be the one on the bus coming to see your son. Yeah. You need to be the one who's calling her daily to see him and to get updates, because it is your kid too. So do not hold her to that. And the $60 bit, believe that as well. I believe it. Yeah. He's like, he's probably like, do you see a Western Union here anywhere? I can't send you things, and I work 7 days a week. So how am I supposed to send you $60? PayPal. I know I agreed to it, but Venmo. It's actually not feasible. PayPal and Venmo, girl. WhatsApp. WhatsApp would be the thing to do.
Do they send money on WhatsApp?
Can you? Yeah, I think you can.
Oh, if you're hearing this, why don't you try it out by trying to send me some money on WhatsApp? I'm just kidding. But yeah, like it is. Wait, so she said other things too. So
I feel like it's just a repeat, but check these two.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a repeat of
He posted this because he has done absolutely nothing for our son. He's given no money, has brought him nothing. Don't let him fool you. I could care less about having a relationship with this man because he's the definition of a deadbeat. I could never be with someone like him. He never even calls to see his son. I would never want to be with him. He thinks I should send him pictures and videos when he never sends anything or calls. He is a pathological liar who does nothing to care for his son. All the pictures he posts are just him being a fake vacation Instagram dad. I have moved on from this part of my life. I could never want to be with someone as shitty as this man. Honey, he posted, oh yeah. So that is where probably they are right now. Yeah. And I'm sad and happy to see it because it was obvious that was not going to be great in the moment. And it was hard to watch her be under the guise in the beginning part of the season that there was the possibility of having any sort of romantic relationship with this man. It was very hard because it was obvious that he was so not in that realm. And I think that sometimes horrible things have to happen to some people to shake us out of ever allowing people to come back in our lives again. So sometimes I think that's, if there wasn't, because she's been back with the baby since the episode we're seeing. And the reason why I know is she references how on Instagram, he pretends to be a dad, a vacation dad. But when we see on Instagram, he does have some pictures up of him and that baby, but the baby is older than what we see the baby now. So it's obvious that there's been other times that she's gone back. And
at least one other time. Yeah, Odin is now walking in the pictures that Sherlon has posted. Yes. And so she's made the effort again. So, I mean, oh, sorry, finish your thought.
So yeah, basically and who knows what she was trying to maybe even in her heart of heart in those times wanted. So it seems maybe at this point, this is the first time I've ever heard her speak so definitively, acknowledging that not only are there's nothing between this, there shouldn't be, and he's shitty.
Yeah. And I'm happy for her because it's like, it's hard to watch a young girl try to make fetch work, Yeah. We are just socialized that we should try. And it's like, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't put up with shenanery.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? This is romanticized to say, but at the end of the day, you really need someone who's going to come for you. Like when men, if you're a heterosexual cisgender situation, you can really tell when men make a decision that someone is quote unquote worth it or higher value or better than them, and then they they will make the effort, and you can tell when that isn't the case, and it's really horrifying.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make a difference on what anyone looks like. It's like where that man is. You can really pick a man in the middle of their life, and he sometimes will just make a decision that he wants to like be committed and or settle down. He'll just pick the next person. Everything is so whatever. It's just an energy you have to feel.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me that is the thing with men, and this is why sometimes I don't trust their choices.
Yes.
Because I'm like, men will get with a woman who their friends think is hot, and so that provides value to them and to her for him. And so, but this woman is now with this person who only likes her because of things. His ego. And like, that's not fair to her, because now she's not actually getting a good partner. She's getting somebody who,
unless she is getting things, it depends on
unless she's getting things too, where it's like, you know what, I would rather we work out because we both understand what this is. And so if you're with me because I'm hot, and then that means that I now get to live in a nice place and drive a nice car, then I will remain hot. And I will do things in order to remain that way so that I can be comfortable. And if that works for you, I get it, because it will work for me. but it would have to be acknowledged. I would have to be like, okay, we understand why we're together. Like, we're together because we work for each other in whatever capacity.
You would just be like, I'm with you because you look at me. You're just like, you would just be like, oh, I'm like a goddess to you. You would never get anyone as hot as me. And so I am content with you realizing how lucky you are to be sitting next to me, or waking up next to me, or being next to me anytime.
Yeah, and I will do whatever I need to do to continue to provide that fantasy for you. And you will do whatever it is that I need
to be in this
fantasy.
Yeah.
And then we can do that. Now, will I have deep emotional conversations with you? Most likely not. And if you don't need that from me and I don't need that from you, then it's fine. But some couples, want that. It is what it is. I have friends. It's terrible.
You have friends?
Yeah, I have friends that fill that void. So like, really, if you can do that and keep up with me, we could take over the world. But if you can't, I'm fine with that too.
Okay. So we're going to move on to with them.
Yeah.
We're definitely not done with this episode, as we have 2 more couples.
Oh, really? We're not done with the episode?
I know. Can you believe it? Let's move on to Daniel and Amber. Okay. Little quick moment. That's Angela and Michael. If you're watching the Patreon, just put up a picture of not Damber. But let me tell you, there they are.
Daniel.
Starts with these people love cats. Okay, there's cats everywhere. But one of the things that it starts on is showing that they have this hideous lawn cat decor. It's like this ugly cat with some hanging. It looks like how you'd have a garden gnome. They have cat lawn decor. I don't know what to tell you, where'd you get it from? I mean, why'd you do it? And don't you have cats? Cats live here. Why? Actually, you should be happy they have that, because if you walked by a home with that, you would know.
Honey, I would know.
You can't go in that home. Not for you. But yeah, that's just their opening B segment to get us to these are who we are. We're with them, and we are coming hot and hellish off of a crazy drunk fight that they've had, where Amber really just was like, I need a break, and he's like, well, I need a break from you and your friends that you put me in here. I'm in hell, but okay.
And so she wakes up having to apologize to him and say she's really sorry for the way that she has behaved. And he then again this is the second time I think she's woken up the next day. Remember they went bowling?
Okay.
They went bowling the first time after she blew up on him. And then
you always get drunk with your friends.
Yeah.
Like, nah.
Yeah. And then now she is like, well, I was an asshole yesterday, so I'll go to this Venezuelan barbecue with him. And she's in her normal outfit. This girl.
What is her modus operandi outfit?
She will always wear capri black leggings. Mm-hmm. And I just don't get why. It's like, why capri? Why do the calves have to be out? I mean, it's
hot where they are.
Oh my gosh, it's just mid calf, and it's just I hate it. And then some kind of shirt that makes it seem like she's gonna go work out. So it looks like she's always just about to go work out, or just done working out. But the girl has done she's an athlete. We learned that from the first season. But she's not an athlete at the moment. And it's just like, girl, can we get you in some other outfits? Can you talk to Cara and figure out what you need to wear when you're filming a show, an international show, madam?
You know, she is, listen, I will say that she is obviously going through a mental breakdown where she thinks she's working too hard and working too much, where she basically is working to drink and drinking to work or whatever. I don't want to tell you about that. But yes, I think that there is across the land, we have gotten to a place of sometimes being a little too casual, medagual in the what our clothing is for outdoor activities. I understand that we like athleisure wear, and I understand that things are comfortable. But at the same time, if you're going for the first time to meet like your husband's friends who you've like never met a friend of theirs, and this is like who he hangs out with, is softball, the softball barbecue, like it's a barbecue, like, you know, it's a party. Like, you don't need to wear a pink camo, like she's like, I don't know, like what war are you going to? It's the war of like, you know, the pinks and Victoria's Secret, you know, like what you're hiding behind bra bins. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There's like the 5 for panty sale at like the VS. I don't know what to it's horrible. It's like a horrible sweatshirt. And yeah, like pants, you know, that like I know makes your butt look good, but at the same time it doesn't look good with the sweatshirt and like looks, I mean, incredibly basic and you know, like not for parties. Not for parties, my loves.
Not for meeting
this is my
people.
style. Yeah, you know, not for meeting new people, not for parties. I think it's time for like us to like remember what it's like to be amongst other people in company. And I think that people don't know the way they look. Like, people don't look in mirrors or they are blind. Like, people don't steam things anymore. People go out, you know, like with like holes and stains, you know, like no, and put your toes away. Anyway,
so they actually go to the barbecue, and she is like taken aback because there isn't actual, I guess, hot dogs and like unseasoned chicken and like things. But there's
meat. There's grilling meat everywhere. But there's hot meat.
But also, here's my thing. I guess I am somebody who, like, when you say barbecue to me, I assume there's going to be a grill, but I don't assume there's going to be the types of things that I expect are going to. I just think it's a party with food. So I'm not like, oh my God, we're going to a barbecue. I cannot wait to have grilled meat. Like, it's not a thing for me. But there was grilled meat. And she's like, soup? I'm like, girl, eat that soup. And then he has to explain to the friends how she's a picky eater and won't eat the things like corn and potato that are in the soup. And so she just sips the broth like a weirdo.
Yeah. It's enough for me. But yeah, no, I guess going back, like, a barbecue to me means grilled meats. So like whatever that means, a burger is a grilled meat and a hot dog is a grilled meat, you know, like on this barbecue, I saw shish kebabs, and honey, I like a shish kebab. So like when I saw them grilled meats, I was so excited. Like I was a vegetarian for 14 years. True story. And yet I'll tell you right now, people change. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing I like more than the sound of like smelling, sizzling beef, honey, like open fire beef or chicken, please.
Let me tell you a story. One time
tell me the story.
One time she and I, Chris, and she won't remember this because she literally remembers nothing. We were at a place, I think Tender Greens, and maybe not. We were at a place where you could get like salads and different things. And I ordered a salad, or I ordered something, and it had like beef on the side, like a steak or something cut up. And I offered her something, and I like turned it to her. I was like, oh, you want some? And I thought, I don't know, whatever it was, but some of the meat juice had like dribbled down. And Chris got so upset, as though I was trying to poison her.
When I was a vegetarian?
Yeah. As though I was trying to poison her. And I wasn't even trying to give her the meat. Like, she knew I was eating meat. So it was like, she's like, oh my God, I just freaked out because I saw meat juice. And like, I'm a vegetarian. Like, I mean, the way she reacted.
Well, yeah, listen, if you are a vegetarian, you're probably not going to want like any sort of like bloody juice of a meat. It's two different people. I'm telling you, yes.
So that's why I'm telling you. For her to say this now is like so two different people when it comes to the eating of meat.
Yeah. If, you know, I made a choice to not eat meat years and years ago because, which is true, there is problems with factory farming and its toll on A lot of things, my loves. I'm not going to get into the politics, but it was a way in which I was trying to live out things I felt in a palpable, viable way. But then, nutritionally speaking, things happened in my life that required me to change my mindset so I could, I think, live longer. So what are you gonna do? Anyway, but here we are. So she's sipping the broth, and she's like, hearing him talk, and he is so happy to be A, speaking in his native tongue, and B, like being around people that understand him, which are men that married American woman and then moved to America and understand how LOL hard it is. And not by LOL, I mean SOS hard. So and she is hearing them speak in a different language and not knowing everyone. And as she's sipping her broth, honey, she understands for a moment what his whole life has been like this whole time, except his friends are talking to her and being nice and are not raging alcoholic assholes. So
yeah, and they're speaking all in Spanish. And at some point they make the phones kiss because they're that's how you guys communicated. Like, you guys communicated through translator app, because he had to learn English pretty quickly to be able to have this to be where he is right now.
Yeah.
With her. I think that they were together for 2 years before she decided to bring him to the US. So he had 2 years to learn the language so that he could communicate with her in the way that he is right now. And he's actually doing a really good job of communicating with her and being patient with her, because
he's a saint.
Yeah, he really is. He really is doing a good job of it. And so he's trying to translate everything, and they're going back and forth. And then it looks like it was a pretty good time.
Yeah, like I feel like she warmed up and understood an empathetic part of like where he was. I think that she also was able to let her hair down. It seems like when she had a lot of focus on her, and sometimes when you are overwhelmingly like coming to grips with some sort of mental episode, there is something about, which sounds crazy, to take yourself out of your own element. So in this case, we see someone able to like not be about herself for a second and put herself in his shoes. But if you aren't in a relationship in such a way, and you do feel sometimes overwhelmed with whatever is happening in your life, if you feel that, if there's a way to, and I mean, this is going to sound a little crazy, but if you can be of service to someone else, where you are able to stop thinking about your own business for a second and then like put yourself in someone else's world, and or put your mind on someone else's, it sometimes I think can be soul grabbing in a like perception shifting way. And I think that in a small way this happens to her or whatever.
Yeah. So the next scene that we have with them is Amber comes home from a hard day at Buffalo Wild Wings, and he's like, I have a surprise for you.
Honey, he's been cooking. He has one of those green pans with those like ceramic coatings. I know if I'm talking about. I got it from like Target. It's very, very light pans, and like at first you think it's so great, but it really is like kind of scratches. But honey, knows how to cook. I'm telling you, he starts to plate something that I'm like, is this man on like a Food Network? He plates like a very mashed potato swipe on a plate, my love, and then in the green pan, which I talked about, he is seasoned some meat, like it. I thought it was chicken, but it ends up being pork, and some green beans, like, and it's like you can see the spices on it, and he layers such a thing on a plate, honey. He's doing his like Lord's work. He's doing his Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah,
he is. I mean, throw down with Bobby Flaying. So she gets home, he goes to the back, he's made an alfresco. I don't know what he did with those roommates, honey. He must have just locked those like screaming banshees in a room and been like, don't come out.
Yeah,
here's some booze, here's 2 bottles of boons, honey, just like entertain yourselves for like 3 hours. I don't know. So so he lays out this beautiful like candlelit dinner. By candlelight it's those like flickery flames, but whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah, he then brings her to the backyard and gives her flowers, and she's like tearing up and crying, and he sits down with her and they start to eat, and he tells her, they commiserate, like he tells her, I know it's been really hard for you right now. And then she takes a sip, gulp, 3 gulps. She like they cheers, and she goes to drink it and then like doesn't stop. It's like she like doesn't just take a sip and put it down. She takes 3 gulps of the wine, and I was just like, damn, like you can't even.
It's mother's milk to her at this point.
You can't even just like take a sip of wine. You have to like take a gulps of it. And then he's like, I know it's been hard, Amber, and I want to tell you that I have my green card. And I actually thought it was a really good moment because I mean,
a work permit.
A work permit, sorry.
Work permit.
Like Reddit breaks it down, so it's probably not as seamless as we thought it was. But it's nice to see that because I want to know how long he's been in the US. Like, I want to know, because we never see it. We never see the moment the person gets the work permit and is able to start working. And she is just like so immediately relieved. And he's like, yeah, I can start working and blah, 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 blah.
And we're a team and now I can, make money for you.
Yeah. And I really hope that after this, she stops being a monster. Like, I really, really hope that she stops. I don't think she will. I think it's going to be like, well, now that you have a job, you need to start paying for this, this, and this. And he's going to quickly see the little money he's making dwindle because she's going to.
She's going to, we have neighbors.
I was just going to let them walk away. Jean Marie, can you cut this out? Okay. And back. So I really hope that she is not a monster after this with him, because I just feel like he's going to try to send money to his family, and she's probably going to freak out about it.
Yes. So what Reddit sleuths noticed was that in this scene, and I don't know if you did too, so we actually didn't, but if you are listening, you want this moment. Her nails change, honey. She starts this scene with a manicure that is a like sparkly kind of manicure, and then later on the manicure is multicolored rainbow nails.
Yeah.
Okay, what in the Kardashian editing are we seeing? Like, was it that the dinner happened and then later on the work permit happened, or was it that, like, why did what happened?
I have a theory. I think what happened is that I think you're right. The dinner happened first and then the work permit happened. And some producer was like, well, let's just merge it. Let's just make it seem like it happened on the same day so that we can have this dinner have a culmination of more than him just making this meal for his wife, who is angry at his not being. I think it like ties something up in a bow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for that bow. But yeah, so that is how they end. And our final coups is Danielle and Johan, who we did not see last episode. And so when Wah got to see the B-roll, honey, she was very excited.
Yeah.
Do you love? What's your favorite couple so far? Is this that? Are they them?
I think my favorite couple is Danielle and Johan, because I just feel like, I don't know, they've gone through so much. Mm-hmm. Like, she tells her friends, then she goes to the spiritual leader. Then she gets direction on not eating peanuts and like having a
bananas,
whole like altar,
banana tree,
little prayer thing. Then she gets there and they go to the gynecologist. Then she's upset about the money. Then
the friends
didn't know. Then
her friends also didn't know.
They go to the Pueblo and then they talk about, like, it's just like this.
A lot has happened.
A lot has happened, and it's been the most interesting in that. I think Valentine and Carlos are interesting too, except for it's been kind of one note of Carlos just being anxious the whole time that Valentine is there and poisoning him, and then Ariana and whatever is Sherlon is like crying all the time. But this one has just been like a lot, and I like it. And I also like this. I like their segment this time. I like the fact that they wake up in the morning and her hair is crazy. And didn't sleep very well after finding out that he would like to go live in the US, because she was under the assumption, the last time they had this conversation was that she was actually going to leave everything behind in the US and move to the Dominican Republic. And he's like, oh no, I mean, obviously that I might have said that, but like thinking upon it, it makes more sense if I come to the US. And so she's now frustrated with that.
Which makes sense.
Which completely makes sense. So this is the moment where we need her to make the choice, and we're hoping she makes the choice.
Oh, I see. Wow. I now realize
that this is not gonna work.
we don't know what we want together.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I wonder why we don't know what we've wanted together. Let's see, how long have we been together? So how long we would have ascertained information about each other? Oh, 5 months? That tracks.
Yeah, definitely. And he definitely did tell me that in the beginning when he was wooing me. And so, of course, he would say, what a great idea for you to come and move here. But now that we're actually getting married, he's like, yeah, it's a great idea. But you know what's a better idea? If we go to the place that has more opportunity for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, they get up and she's in a mood, but they still have to go and do stuff. So
they're in that bed together, like they're curled up. You know, she's the tiniest, whiniest, and he's the biggest, wiggest. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Remember that one Ice Tea and Coco picture where, like, I know it's not that Coco was so much smaller than Ice, but she was like on him or whatever. It's like I don't know if it's like a cover of one of his albums, something like that. Anyway, it reminds me of that. Like, how does she even, like, at some point does he roll over on top of her, like in bed, and he's like, oh, he only knows it because like he feels a little bit of fur. It's like her hair. But you know, she has to get ready, and you know, it's hard for her because she does have curly hair, and so she's used to like, well, water pressure and all the products, honey. And yeah, like there's not so much water pressure here or running water.
Yeah, so they have to take a bath, a shower in like a space that's like toilet and shower, and they get water from the well, and so they have to be kind of sparse with the water, or be like, you know, smart with how they lather up and such things. And so then he pours the water on her to like rinse her off, and you know, it's camera crew, it's awkward, she's in like a nude bra.
Yeah, for a moment I'm like, I think we're about to see her boobies. She has made an appointment for them to go to a marriage counselor, which every time she does things like that, I'm always just like, can you imagine just like being like, you don't have any money to do anything, we need to go to a marriage counselor today? Like, he must be like, uh-huh. That's why I ate the peanuts, girl, because I knew I was hungry. But if you're gonna have money for a marriage counselor, you're gonna have money for peanuts. And I'm not saying that's right. I'm glad she went to a marriage counselor because I think it's important. I also don't think she should be getting married or whatever at this time. But it's like, it is interesting to think about how this woman has like told Johan like what's happening for them today.
Yeah, I mean, they get there and it's less of a therapist and more of like a weird shaman guru white lady who moved to the DR and speaks both English and Spanish, and is like,
Danielle is like, me, honey, it's me in 2 years.
Yeah, is she like specifically a counselor / therapist for people who don't speak Spanish, who want to come and marry Dominican? Is this like literally her niche? Like, she really just counsels American people who try to marry Dominican Republic folk and bridge the gap. So they're sitting next to each other like on a hammock. I mean, it's not a hammock, but the space is very much like, I wouldn't be surprised if they were all sitting in like hanging chairs, or like
macrame everywhere.
Yeah, just like cushioned, you know, things. And they're sitting so far from each other and their body language is showing everything. Like, she's frustrated and upset, legs crossed away from him. And he's just sitting there like, why are we even here? Who is this lady? And basically, you know, they're trying to talk to each other and explain like the reasons why he wants to go to the US. And then the woman's like, you guys don't actually have to get married on Monday. So why are you trying to get married on Monday? And he feels the same way. He's like, listen, if you don't want to marry me, then don't. Which is not the attitude to have.
Actually, I mean, well, okay, so his attitudes could be like, oh, we should get married right away. No, we don't. No. Then that would be very obviously red flag, which is like scary. But he's kind of like, I think that Johan loves her. But I also think, I do think that he loves her. I just also think, but he still wants to get shit done. And if she was to leave him, I don't think that she is the love of his life, but I think he like would be with her and would be happy about it.
Yeah, I think that he would be with her for as long as she was allowing him in the US, but like, we forget that she cannot have kids. He's not, he wants children.
Oh yeah. I forgot that was, if you're right, a lot has happened. That's like, that's like 10 episodes ago. Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, I don't know if I think that he loves her. I think he might care for her and be fine with her. I think it would be better. I think his ideal situation in which she is the woman for him is a situation in which she has his babies, she provides shelter for him in order to come to the US to make a life for his family, and she doesn't like get on his nerves. Like, I mean, I don't think he is going, I think him being his age and how hot he is, the moment he comes to the States or goes anywhere, like he will drop her as soon as she gets old. Like, I don't think
you could be right.
Yeah, that's just kind of what I think. Like, I think she's okay now, and it's because I think that men feel like they have all the time in the world, which is just like a blessing. Men truly just are like, yeah, I have time. I have time. Like, yeah, I'm not 70.
Oh yeah, my dad's 71. Doesn't think that he's 70.
It's like they're just like, what are you talking about?
I know.
Like, I have all the time in the world, and women are like, for whatever reason, we're just like biological clock. Even the women who are like, yeah, no, I don't even want kids. It's fine. The biological clock could stop ticking, and I would be fine. There is still this idea, for the most part, not every woman, some women, me, of like, at some point, like, I'm not going to be the person that I thought I saw in the mirror, and like, it's gonna throw me for a loop. The moment I start to look in the mirror, and I'm like, oh,
I know,
I'm not she. I'm not the she in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's going to mess me up. And
I know.
Because we live in a society where women's looks are the utmost important, you know.
Anyways. I know that. I'm scared for that. But the only saving grace, is that we look really great right now. Now, if you are on Patreon, boy, did you shake your head yes. And so just a reminder that you can always look at this on Patreon, but you know, podcast, we do also have faces for podcasts.
Yeah.
We have faces for live streams too.
Yeah. So she, like, not to cut you off, sorry, not anyways, but she is upset with him. And the way he's saying it is passive aggressive. What he should say is, you know what, Danielle, I do love you, but I don't want to marry you if you're having worries.
Yeah.
So let's just fix our issues, and we don't have to get married on Monday. And I'm sorry that we thought we were going to get married on Monday, but because I want something long and lasting and loving with you, I don't want you to marry me before we have broken this down. Mm-hmm. That's what he should say.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, then don't marry me then.
Yeah. It's coming from, because he's taking it as like an offense. Like, if she's like, because this is what, okay, so basically he's like, okay, at the therapist thing, he's like, I bought my mom a fridge. My mom a fridge. She needed it. I bought it on credit. And then Danielle hears that and is like so upset because she didn't know that he bought his mom a fridge. And he thought, oh my God, he is the breadwinner for everyone in the family. And so anytime any of them needs anything, it's going to come on him. And yet I am his breadwinner. So it's going to be on me. That's what she's coming from.
And she's right.
And she's absolutely right. Now, here's the thing that, yeah, girl, you are right. And it's that you are dating someone, honey, who is the, you know, like strong, athletic, very healthy man of a family from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So yes. So, but she's very upset to hear that or whatever. And so after they leave this therapist's office, they're now in a car and they're talking, and she is trying for him. She wants to say this, I'm going to have to pay for your family, and I don't want to do that. And what he is saying is, if you want to be with me, you have to understand who I am, and I am someone who's going to help my family. You can't be so selfish.
Yeah. But it's because he doesn't truly understand how the United States works. And I always say this, the foreigner never understands the burden that is going to be put on their partner and on them once they get to the United States, because it isn't as easy peasy as they envision it being, especially if you're going to New York City where there is weather. And like, that'll just change your whole life. You've come from a place where you walk outside every day and it is warm and sunny, maybe sometimes rainy and humid, but coming to New York City, having to deal with all these weathers and then having to figure out a new city, having to learn English, it's a lot. So like, I mean, not to say that Amber is right in any way for treating Daniel that way, but it is a lot, right? And so Johan has no concept of that. He just feels like this is the opportunity and I'm going to take it. And you're being selfish because you don't want to do the thing that to me makes the most sense. And she's like, I wanted to retire.
Yeah.
And just move to a tropical island. I did not want to take on a dependent.
Yeah.
Nor that dependent's
family.
And it's like, but it's crazy for her, when you mentioned the refrigerator that he bought his mother on credit, it's crazy for her to think, oh, he didn't tell me that. Well, it's because you've only known him for 5 months.
5 months.
5 months.
Cinco meses.
He doesn't even think, he's not thinking like a married man because he hasn't even been in a relationship with you, like for long enough to, you haven't lived in the same space yet, and you're already trying to control how he's using his money. And unfortunately, that's not going to work for him.
Why would he tell you that he bought his mom a fridge when he didn't tell his friends that he was going to marry you? Also, why'd you get so upset that he didn't tell his friends that he was going to marry you when, like, 2 scenes prior, when you were about to get on the plane, you had just told your friends about him? About him. Not that you were going to get married to him, although, yes, you were like, I might get married to him, but also about him, that he exists, and other parts of him that exist. She didn't show a dick pic, but we all know that basically she did. Yeah, like it is really one of those things that people are just literally in a car going, no. It's you that is not understanding. You don't understand. No. I understand. You don't understand. No. You understand nothing and I understand everything. And we don't get each other. You know, it's the same as like the Muhammad and Eve of like, why don't you care about what I care about? And the other person's like, because you don't care about what I care about. It's just like really people just saying the exact same thing back to each other. So standing on separate mountains, separated. They're standing on mountains on separate continents, separated by seas, honey. And they're just yelling at each other that no one is coming to the other side.
I want to do a little role play of like what the conversation should be.
Okay.
Who do you want to be, Danielle or Johan?
Well, in your mind, who are you going to be?
Oh, I'll be Johan.
Okay. You start.
Okay. So here's the thing. So babe, guys, this is what it should be. This is what the conversation is. So we're getting married and I might have told you when I barely knew you and we were just conversing that I would love for you to come to live here, or it'd be fine if you lived here. However, now that this is actually a possibility, I'm starting to rethink that, like, it would honestly be best if I went to the US.
Oh, that's weird, because here's the thing. You're not going to be there unless I want you to be there, and I don't want to be there. So.
Well, that was really mean.
Sorry. We didn't do this role play. That's my thing is like, it's so interesting to be like, Johan, you want to be in America? Well, guess what? The only way you'd be in America is if your American wants to be there and she doesn't want to be there. So in my mind, I'm like, Johan, this is a moot point. You have no ability to get to America. So don't try and talk someone into getting into America who doesn't want to be in America. If I were you, and if that's what you want, now that you know that you want that, thank you, Daniela, for showing me the light, and find some other biddy at one of your other resorts to make a pass at.
So after Daniela said that to me as Johan, my response as Johan is like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I want to go to the US. It would be most advantageous of me to go to the US because I would not be able to take care of you here at all because my money currently goes to my family. So even if you stayed here, I still wouldn't be able to take care of you. So yeah, we should break up.
Yeah. What do you okay? Because in her mind, she's like, okay, it'll be cheaper for me to live in the DR. So I'll live here and he'll move in wherever I like to live and pay half of whatever rent I'd like to pay.
Yeah.
And pay half of whatever food when we go out and eat.
Yeah, because we're going to get married. So obviously he would then owe his money to me. And like,
and be cheaper here. So that's how we'll be able to do it.
Yeah. And the answer is no, that's not how we'll be able to do it. The answer is that, because I don't know, listen, I don't know how hard it is to travel back and forth, but to me, 50 minutes isn't a long way, even if you're taking like public transportation. Like, it's not that far away. But like, I don't know where he lives. Does he share rent right now, or does he go home? Does he pay rent is my question. Like, and if he doesn't, then her expecting him to pay half of whatever is her putting a burden on him without asking him if he was able to do so.
You know what would be great? If they could just like talk for longer than 2 seconds in present tense Spanish.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it's like, I mean, just like we will for anything, Daniela is seasoned. Honey, this is a seasoned woman. She's a teacher. She's teaching the youth. She is teaching people right now, younger people, how to live their lives, my love. And so we would like to be like, okay, girl, you need to not be with someone for only 5 months when you know nothing about them? This is not someone you grew up with. This is not someone that you could get like a vibe from because you understand this is a completely different foreign person in every way. So take the time you would even date someone and then like multiply that by 4, girl. Like you're dumb for thinking you're going to get married to someone in this amount of time. And that is, you should have thought, wow, if I need to alter my dress now, I should take the time to do that, where I alter my dress, then get married. The fact that you were like, everything has to be rushed, even the alter of your dress, means that like you have your mindset in the wrong place, honey. And this is what I want. To go back to school.
Yeah.
Go back to school.
She
open a book.
She says the dumbest thing. She's like, well, I guess I thought that our spiritual connection was strong enough to like get through this test, but I don't think it is. And I'm like, your spiritual connection?
His dick game?
Stop saying that.
No.
You are a seasoned woman.
Oh, you think you're such a, I'm sorry. If you, like, why do I even have to watch you be so spiritual on this whole goddamn show and brush everything and smudge everything with your dumb sage? Yeah. And I'm sorry, you're like brand new BS religion that you just took on, my love. Like, I have to see you do all of that and then lie to me when you tell me that you found a spiritual connection with Johan in the middle of a lobby of like some hot DR resort. No, you didn't. You fell in lust. And so if you think that's a spiritual connection, then your entire spirituality is based on your perception, which I'm sorry, I don't have faith in. Yeah. So I don't know. Girl, do it. But at the same time, it's important for you to know who's teaching your children.
All right. And on that note,
was she teaching them yoga? I hope she's teaching them yoga, honey, because I wouldn't trust this woman to like put a thought in any of our youth's mind other than how to do a downward facing dog. And I think she knows how to do it. Boy, I'm being mean. A lot of salt, a lot of lime juice on this one. But it's just, I get mad at people who I'm just like, why can't you see it? Like, why do we have to sit here and think that like you're going to go like we'll have a baby with someone you just met 5 months ago? Like, I mean, like, aren't you mildly embarrassed? Like, no wonder why your friends were like, we don't even trust you to get a dog. We don't even trust her to have a dog. Okay. I think are we done?
Yeah.
You guys, listen, it's been a long but fruitful episode. And by fruitful, I mean 2 coconuts. Here we are just coconating it up with you. I hope that we gave you some sort of electrolytes for your thirst. As you know, sometimes, I get a little carried away, which a lot of these women do on this show. So it's part of the show, getting carried away with all the drama and all the romance.
Yeah. I mean, so we want to thank you guys so much for listening. Mm-hmm. Please, if you would like to see the video and unedited version of this podcast, should join us on Patreon. And that is at patreon.com/DocuSweeties.
But however, we also have a lot of fun, social medias you don't have to pay any money for. And if you want to follow us there, we, DocuSweeties, are on TikTok, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook. So make sure that you are following us because, listen, we're fun. Other than that, thank you so much for listening to this, for downloading, for following this podcast, for rating it 5.5 stars, my loves. I don't know where you're gonna get that half star, honey, but you find it. It's somewhere in the app. Like try and find your secret stars, like little Mario and Luigi's running around. Secret stars everywhere. Maybe it'll make you go fast. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna stop this metaphor. But yeah, no, we exist on all those social medias and we are pumping out content. We're so thankful that we have fun listeners already downloading and yeah, this is really great. We're enjoying ourselves. Well, anything else?
Let's hear it for the boys.
Let's get the boy the hand.
All right, you guys. So thank you so much. And we'll see you guys in our next episode 9. And also we're going to, episode 9. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jean Marie.